This is Mark of Second Phase, and this is going to be the recording for folks that were on the webinar earlier and didn't get to see what I did. So here we go. I'm going to repeat it here, and you can see everything you need to in this recording. Thanks. So this is going to be an end-of-year promo webinar to discuss the email that went out and discuss our end-of-year promo and some of the features of our product that you can then use for your decision-making process. So as we talked about, Second Phase is a development company focused on online sales and support for distributors. We have over 150 clients. In Trade Service, our partner is a leader provider of content, over 75 years of doing that. They have over 1,000 customers. We talked about the ability that having all three of these things is absolutely critical to a successful web store: product content, a PIM, and a web store. And Cloud LSI plus PIM is our means of handling the content from Trade Service or any other source. It brings in all the content from different sources, from Trade Service, vendors, ERP, into the PIM tool, manages it, and then flows it into our Second Phase standalone e-commerce or our custom e-commerce. The difference is standalone is where a site doesn't have direct integration of the ERP, because it's not one of our supported ERPs, and custom is for one of our supported ERPs. The custom one then gets real-time pricing and availability, and the standalone gets an update for pricing at least once or twice a day based on your current availability. Then you can then put that out to the CSV file or other formats for using in third-party applications, or to send off to Amazon for products that you want to sell on Amazon or eBay and such. And that's where Cloud LSI becomes your data hub for all your content. You also get the ability as a buying group member to take advantage of our master catalog content, which is where everyone in the buying group gets to share in the content. And that content then goes to the different distributors, your different catalogs, and is utilized by you for that. We also can take advantage of that content directly to your catalog as well. And then once everything is set in your catalog, it then flows to the web store. It can also flow to different applications you may have that need content. So what you're buying with the buying group content is a master that all of you share in for a dramatically lower price that gets you a lot of SKUs for a really, really low price point. And that really gets you kind of a head start to really do well in the game of selling online. Elements of the buying group special is that content we just talked about, both a guaranteed number of SKUs for you and group content SKUs that together gives you a complete solution for product content, the Cloud LSI tool we just talked about, and a B2B, B2C web store. Here's an example of the content itself. You can see all the key elements of the content: good pictures, good data, good specs, good taxonomy, features and benefits, resource pages, packaging information, and such. Here's an example of exactly what the content can do for you. Here's an example of someone searching on a site before they had the rich content, and all that came up was 25 items for a 4-square box. Once the rich content's in there, the same search, 4-square box, brings up 707 items, because it's much deeper data, and you're going to get a much better chance of them finding what they're looking for. Especially using to narrow your search attributes, they can now narrow down from the 707, usually in a couple of clicks, and make it all happen. 24 hours, 7 days a week is the new norm. That's a must-have business solution in today's world. You can see product availability, customer pricing, and account management 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what your web store will get you. It also can be automated to do a dead inventory solution for putting your dead inventory up, and daily project procurement solutions for higher margins. Let's do a quick demonstration of all this and come back and finish up the PowerPoint after that. So here's an example of different sites we've worked on. As you notice, they all have a different look and feel. Here's a site that went live earlier this year and is now doing over $1 million a month. Here's a site that's had consistent results for the last 5 years, great sales, major player in the Florida area. These guys are in New Jersey, become a major player there. They have over 10,000 users of their site. Here's a player in the East Coast that has created a consumer version of their site that's more focused on bathrooms and kitchens, which is what consumers care about. So you can make different faces, what we call storefronts, to your site to really drive the experience. Here is Cloud LSI itself. So first you have a dashboard that comes up. It shows you all the products you have in here. It shows you the readiness report of what key things are missing. So it gives you a sense you're not quite ready to go live, and it gives you a good sense for what you need to do to get things right. Here's the different data sources that are feeding your site. You can see right here, some of them have all your products. Some of them only have a small subset of your products, which could be by design. And then you go in here and you start managing your data is your first thing. So you come in here, look at your different data sources, hit edit. We have your product ID, which is your master source, your different other sources here, and they all get picked by priority here. So you have usually this is your ERP is your master, and then your other data sources. One of them would be that master catalog from your buying group we talked about, would be one of your sources here. And then you pick the ID that matches the two up, and you prioritize them. And if you want to change priority, simply just drag and drop and change priority. Really easy to do. You can also do priority based at the field level. We call smart fields. And here's an example of a smart image. We can come in here and we can go here and look at the different sources of images we have. We have five, in this case, 5 sources of images. And you can then change the priority of these sources. So this is your number 1 source of images, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th source. And so you can then drag and drop and change priority as you get better sources, or you want to add even additional, a 6th source. The goal is to have the best images possible showing on your site. And this is the way you do that, by prioritizing. You can then pick the include all field button here, and then you can also show multiple images at the same time, like this site does, where you have 3 different images showing. So that way you can, if you had 5 images, they would show here. You had 6 images, they would show here. So you can really drive the experience just by going to Cloud LSI and picking that image button and using the smart field for doing that. And so just really powerful means of really controlling what ends up on your site and the kind of experience people get. We talk about the PIM. Here's the means of editing product. We can do a bulk edit. We can come in here and we can say I want to edit, in this case, 262 items at one time, all the controls that I have. So I pick select. I see here the different codes I have. So I pick commodity codes. I want to change commodity codes. I also want to add a new field. Say I want to add building code. Hit next. So if I wanted to add a local building code that applies only to my area, and that makes my data stand apart, I can come in here and put in a field. Building code field. I can also change the names that are being used in my site. You can see here controls, temperature switches and controls, and I can enter a new value here and do that. And then I hit save, and I just made a change to 262 items of a couple clicks. That's how powerful this can be. And so really great way to take your content that you get from different sources and keep making it better and better over time, which is absolutely critical. We also could do a thing called data cleansing, which was a major request from our client base, was getting their data standardized. So for example, you may get different data sources and they may call voltage volts, voltage, or V. And you want to just call it V across your site. So you come in here, you make this rule, update voltage to V, you apply it, and it will apply it to thousands of items at one time. Boom, just like that. So instead of having to manually go and make this voltage equals V thing happen in a spreadsheet or in our PIM, you come in here, create this rule, and boom, you do that for 1,000, 10,000 items with as quickly as what you just saw there. And it's a great way to standardize the data across your site, and that just helps improve the usage of your site and helps improve, once again, sales on your site. The other thing we can do is go in and create merchandising groups. So we come in here and create groups. Here's an example of where we made a merchandising group for dead inventory. And you can see here that we have a field called dead inventory equals yes, and this is in your ERP system. So you come in here, you create that field in there, or any other field that you may already have a field in your ERP that identifies clearance items or dead inventory, and we could just use that field name. And you can use whatever 0 or 1 or yes or no, or whatever you use to identify it. This is an example where the field was called dead inventory, and it was yes for dead inventory, and we added this item manually. You can add my items manually as well. So now this has been set up to automatically show up on the home page of this demo site here. So when I pick this here, go to the home, we see product specials, and those are those dead inventory items. Now hit view all, it shows me all the dead inventory items I have. Of course, you would have much more than this. This is an example. And you see that item that I picked manually here as well, the water heater. So now you can start feeding products to your site in a specials page or a home page like you see here, or a certain product specials category, and then feed this automatically by just the people that already are working your ERP, just keeping that field up to date, whatever field you decide to use, dead inventory in this case. And boom, now you're feeding your site of dead inventory on a regular basis automatically and really changing the game. We also have the ability to create featured products, promotional products. Say I want to promote all Legend valves that I sell. So I come in here, set up a rule, manufacturing equals Legend valve. That'll automatically feed from my ERP all Legend valves that I have. And then you can go into our promotions module and say I want to give a 10% off on Legend valves. And you can put a banner ad on your homepage to that effect, and says Legend valve specials, or you can have a specials category here. And then you can suddenly be selling those valves at a specials all in about 5 minutes. That much effort to get that thing up and starting to sell things uniquely on your site. We also have the ability to what we call a quick buy group. This is the ability to create groups for product procurement. So you come in here, in this case, do a quick buy group for circulation pumps. And here's a group that you create for your customer base to help them buy their daily procurement items on a regular basis. You can make unlimited number of quick buy groups, and you can feed them for a variety of different customer types, and then they come in here and pick the group they want. We can set up rules for them. You can use the rule to define the group or manually pick the group in this case. And then once you're on your site, you pick quick buy groups link, and here's that group, the circulation pump group. You can see all the items that were added to it, and it could be 5 items, it can be 100 items, it could be 1,000 items. There's no limit. And now it's basically like a bill of materials. You're showing them all the things they can buy. Here's the availability of those things and the price. This is what they do not get with a fax and an email. They don't get to have current availability. They don't get to have current price. And they can even put their own part number here as well. And such, now we have the ability to quickly buy a whole project worth of items by adding some quantities to whatever they want, hitting add to cart, and off they go. They can also make this group their own through what we call product groups. People say, well, this is great, but my client would have variations to this, or they might have more items they want to add to this. They hit the product groups button. That adds all these items to a group of their own. Then they can come in here and they can then manage that. They can edit it. They can add additional items. They can tweak it, make it their own, call it their own name, and then they can start buying these groups. So here's one of the groups right here. And they can hit check all, add to cart, and they just bought the group. Once again, you see at the group the quantities they typically purchase and their current price and their current availability. And this will also work on their phone. So they can bring this up on their phone, say I want to pick one of my groups for tomorrow's project, my pump group, for example, and boom. I now have that either waiting for me at the sales counter or being shipped directly to my ship to or wherever I want it to be, or another branch even, for example. It's that kind of stuff that sets Second Phase apart because we know your world. We've been servicing the distributor world for over 15 years. We know it very, very well. Obviously not as good as you, but we think we know it better than many ERPs do. And we really are your partner in getting a web store that's going to really work for you, which is absolutely critical. So we come in here, do your product groups, order that, and off they go. Other groups we can create, related products. This should be familiar to most folks, as most good e-commerce sites have this, where you say, okay, I have a kitchen faucet, I want to relate these items to it, as an example. So these are the items I picked through using keywords. Such here, I can put keywords, certain manufacturers, certain categories, and I pick the items that I want and stick them in this group, close up, and now I have this related product groups. Or I could have used a rule to do that as well. And then I go to the kitchen faucet that I was just associated it to. I look here at the bottom, and I have related products all ready to go. So now they won't just buy the faucet, they'll also buy the O-rings, they'll also buy soap dispenser, a kitchen sink. Of course, it's all about upselling them to buy more and more. And notice this site. This site has buying group data on it, plumbing, of course. And you can see here the level of richness you get at this data. And you can organize this different ways on the site, but this is just for this example. Specs, resource pages, packaging information, all that exists for every single item that's in this demonstration site of buying group data. We even have substitute items here. So if this faucet was out of stock or you didn't have enough of them, you could pick a substitute and be able to have another item you could use to fill in that gap. So there we go. Related products. Another thing we have is required products. You can set up items that are required to be purchased together by using required. Specials, substitutes, where you pick the and variants, where you can say, okay, you have the same item, but it has different variants. So I can say, like this case here, this relief valve, it's a variance item. I come in here, I search on this product ID on the site here. There's that product ID. And there's the variance. You have the same relief valve has 3 different sizes. 1 inch, see the price change here, 1.5 inch, and 3/4 inch. And so now we have the ability to, on one page, buy any size relief valve that I want. Add the quantity, add the cart, and off I go. As you see here, it also has the button Add to Product Group here, and then they can add a customer part number anytime they want to this, and they can find this item based on their own product number. So all the different ways of making groups is all about ways to make your site sell better. The other thing you can do is what we call data quality. This was a major request from our customer base. They wanted to make sure their items had all the data they wanted, that they needed to make sure before they put it on the web. They wanted to make sure images, good images, description, product price. You create the list of what you think is must-have before an item should be sold on the web. This is the way to quickly find out if your data is good. So you set up your report, pick the fields that are critical, run the report, and you quickly see visually that you see status has got 100% coverage, description's got 100% coverage across 49,000 items, but images is missing some. And product price, in this case retail price, is missing some things as well. So that can be not a problem if you don't want to show retail price for everything, but images you want to have covered, which is why in the smart field we had more than one source of images, which is what fills in the gap here. So we would create a run report of having more than one image field, so it would show over the different image fields you got all your images covered. So it's a great way to just make things really work the way you want to work it, and really make sure the data doesn't have any key missing things before you're on the site trying to find things, which is absolutely critical. So leaving the Cloud LSI world behind, we go to show you examples of our other sites. This is an actual site, and this is a client's My Account page. And we can see here on his page, he's got a whole bunch of product groups he's set up. Here's one of the, he's got over 65 groups. Here's one of the groups right here. He's got his part number, his pricing, and his availability right here shown, ready to roll. You can just hit check all, add to cart, and he just ordered 60 items with 2 clicks. If he wants to remove a few items this time, he simply just unchecks a few. Maybe he wants to adjust some quantities, he does that. Then he says check all, and off he goes. So very, very powerful way to get sales up dramatically on your site. And by no coincidence, this is Steiner's, one of their biggest clients, this guy that's done this. But the quick buy groups I showed you earlier was all about helping people create groups, giving them a starting point, because not all your clients are going to do this. They're not all going to take the time to create product groups. But if you create the quick buy groups, it's a great way to get them rolling. Other things they can do to help do reorders, which is what B2B is all about. They have saved shopping carts. They have the quick pad for putting in product IDs. The reorder pad shows them what they've been ordering lately. Job management tool is for organizing things based on project. We can also do things like open bid management, open orders, order history, and such. Say you wanted to order something again that you just ordered recently, or even a year ago. You simply pick the order. You see, we want to order this again. You copy item to shopping cart, and off you go. If you want to make a product group out of this, you copy items to group, and then you don't have to find this order. You just bring up the group. So a great way to really manage and really make orders repeatable, and something that really gets people to come back to your site again and again. We also talked about rapid price sheets. This was a custom feature they asked us to do, where they said, let's create the ability for our clients to one click to get estimating on products they typically purchase. So here's an example of conduit estimating. Hits that button, it brings up his price and availability in one spot. And it just shows him the 42 pieces of conduit he typically purchases, not all the conduit that Steiner sells. So that way, if one click, he can look at what's available, he can make his estimate for a prospect that he has. He can even do this on his phone. You bring up, this is the exact same rapid price sheet here. He brought up right here on his phone. He has conduit, he has the pricing for it, and off he goes. So now he can do in his truck an estimate based on the actual current price and current availability of the items. And he knows that when he gets ready to start this project that afternoon or the next morning, he's all set to go. And you can even go into a given item and see the availability by branch. So here we see this conduit and the availability of the conduit by branch. And so he can know if I'm doing a project near any of these branches, they have enough for me, or I might have to get a cross ship to another branch, or whatever is needed to do that. You even see substitute items here. So if he knows that this conduit's out, maybe he pick this one here and see if there's availability there for that same half-inch conduit. So it gives you a lot of flexibility for managing this. You can see we also have other people have also bought showing up here, and it shows your viewing history here as well. So you can go back and forth between items. So you can see this becomes a very, very powerful tool for driving your usage. Here's related products on this site, where this grabbed the related products from the ERP and automatically put these in place when it brought up the drill. So in the ERP, it found there was a relationship between the drill and these drill bits. So when it saw that, it automatically placed these drill bits right here on the site and such. Other things we can do, we have the ability to create blogs, where you can do, in this case, they call it talks, standard talks. They can copy and paste information from clients, from their vendors for introducing new products. Here's an example of one of a video that shows them how to use this product, and off they go. And you can, go back here and you see all the different blogs we have that these guys create. And these guys use this blog as a major information source for their customer base. And they really keep this blog up to date. You see there's a lot of blogging going on. These are their salespeople doing this. So the blog tool we created was meant to allow anybody to create a blog. Here's the project showcase tool as well. It makes ability for anyone to add projects to their site. So all they do is upload a picture, put in the name of the project, a little detail on it, and then boom, it's all ready to go. It looks nice. It makes a great way to do a project showcase in your site for minimal effort. No programming needed. So we have these tools like this to make life easy, to make your site constantly updated, which is key. A news and promotions tool. They can then use the same tool to add news, promotions and such. Meet the team. Look, listen, and learn. All the information. Or you have an event tool. We have, you can put, training or barbecue or Christmas party or whatever it is on there as well. Storefronts is another feature where you can have the same site have multiple faces. Here's an example of eDist has a business division. They also have 5 other divisions as well, and they have 5 other storefronts. Each storefront only sells the items that matter to that storefront. So when you're searching for an item here, you're only going to get business items. But they're all the same web store behind the scenes. So you're only managing one store. They also can use this storefront feature to create a catalog for their largest customers. So here's an example of a catalog for UPS stores, where they made this specific storefront just for their client UPS stores, and all UPS stores across the country bring this up. You see the URL here is upsstore.edist.com, so it's very friendly URL, and they bring this up, and they only see their pricing and the items they buy, and that means even with their own marketing pitch to those managers across the country. So imagine one of your top 10 customers getting a storefront like this specifically just for them, has marketing just for them. Marketing pitch. It only has the items they typically buy shown to them and their price. And if you want to give them a deal, you can feature that price, show them it's a brand new price, special today, and that kind of thing. And it all is about a private catalog of their own, basically their own private web store. So it makes it a very, very powerful tool for doing that. And finally, I wanted to show you, the visual tool we've created for this client to make it easy for them to have people find items in a visual way. This is under construction. but I wanted to show you the kind of things we do on a regular basis. But they asked us to find a tool that didn't require the client to type in anything or even know what a product was called. It was all visual. So they sell parts for gas stations. So a person comes here and goes, I need a part for this island right here. I need this nozzle right here. In 2 clicks, visual, super quick, they're looking at the nozzle, they're looking at the price, they're looking at the price breaks to get it, they buy more than one, they hit add to cart, and off they go. This is the kind of stuff that takes e-commerce to the next level, and we're constantly working on these kind of things. And our roadmap is got some great features coming in the future here for automation of ordering. And that's where it's going to go, and that's what you get a second phase over. The competition is 100% focus on your market, and this is all we do. Your ERP will never be able to say that. Magento will never be able to say this because Magento sells to mainly retail, and all we do is sell e-commerce platforms for wholesale distributors. So once again, I apologize for what happened earlier with the lack of viewing of the screen, but hopefully you can see this demonstration here and get your needs covered. And if you have any questions, go to sales@secondphase.net. We'll finish off with a few slides here. Another thing we talked about in our example was the product configurator integration. Here's an example of a motor product configurator from Siemens that's going to be coming out here in the next few months. And this is where things are going, and we're integrating these right into our site. So they become literally a part of our site. So when someone's looking for a motor, it automatically brings up this configurator. They put in their variables, hit continue, and it automatically sticks the item into the shopping cart. This is our pricing, which we can get to you direct. As I said in the email, we got 10% off our upfront fees, which is these amounts here. And this is what you get with each level of our product: silver level, gold, and platinum. A salesperson can bring you through this in detail. We also have these special add-ons down here to add on to any one of the levels that are unique that you might want in addition to the level for additional features, like pay open balances online. This is a very popular feature of ours. It brings up all the open invoices. They just click off the invoices they want to pay, and they use PayPal or they use credit card or they use ACH and pay off their open balances online. This was a slide I just wanted you to see that the trend is dramatic of people getting web store sales up within their world, and you need to be part of this, as you well know. How to get going? Contact sales@secondphase.net, and we'll get started with a signed agreement, an upfront fee, and off we go. Any questions and answers? You have the information here. You have trade service number, our number, and sales@secondphase.net is how you get to your answers. So once again, thanks for your time, and once again, I apologize for the mistake earlier, and hopefully you get a chance to watch this and get a sense for what we can do for you. And please contact us if any of your questions. Thank you.